as you said, will be kind of that feeling out period. And at least from what I've seen, Oblivion Force are pretty good at making those adjustments and really being able to play long series. But then again, Velocity have also proven that they're capable of winning long.
So if we look at the bans here, right, we've completely picked off the bans. These are very utility heavy maps. I'm not saying that any of the picks are any less utility heavy, but I feel like there's a bit more of an emphasis, especially on maps like Split. Breeze could be the exception. As Black and Blue mentioned, there is going to be a lot of fighting. Haven, we know how Haven works. We even see VLT picking defense, so this is once again a pick and prod type of play for them, I believe. They're going to be relying on a lot of those long-range duels and once again, just kind of relying on the layout of Haven. I mean, we have talked about how unfamiliar these teams are with each other, so this is probably going to be very, very tedious for both sides. And I might just add, this might be completely out of topic, but my goodness, guys, give all our casters from anywhere, really, give them all your energy. They are going to need it for this one.
Yeah, for this entire weekend especially. I mean, we saw Icebox there banned. It's honestly the only map where there's a contrast between these two teams. Oblivion Force kind of 50-50 on that. Velocity very capable of winning that in their local scene, but the other maps are all pretty much neck and neck statistically on how good. They're really good maps for all these, both of these teams rather.
Well, with all the numbers we have on the maps and all the match histories that we have to figure out or find out from you guys what the who's gonna come out on top here. Is it South Asia? Is it Hong Kong, Taiwan? Is it Velocity Gaming? Is it Oblivion Force?
Very difficult. I think Oblivion Force, they do have kind of an edge just playing in APAC and C in general, but I wanna kind of root for the underdogs here, and they're the only representatives left for either side. But I think South Asia, they need their shot here right now. They need to make that shot count. So I'm going Velocity 2-1.
I was kind of confused which is the underdog really in the series, because once again it's a bit of a labyrinthian conundrum that we're kind of tackling. You did say Velocity, right? And again, I feel like you're basing this off the large sample size, which is something that I completely agree on, but I'm gonna go out of my way to say that I feel like Oblivion Force, again, we know HKT Dubs is a team that loves to kind of adapt and mold their playstyle on that defense. That is where they kind of get as much data as they can. Oblivion Force, they might see a bit of a standard comp from VLT, as we said. So that could be telling of how this is going to go. Oblivion Force 2-1. 2-0.
2-0 even. All right, well, I'm gonna have to go to Velocity Gaming here. The numbers, the amount of games that they play compared to Oblivion Force, it doesn't lie. They should come out on top here with just the sheer resilience and perseverance that they have, and they pretty sure can adjust to Oblivion Force's game style going into this matchup. And then without further ado, we're hopping into Icebox, first map of the day of the game here between Velocity Gaming and Oblivion Force.
Hope. It's a fleeting feeling, but truly, it's the last hope for, well, the regions that these two next teams are representing. Welcome back, guys, to the APAC Challengers. It's the first day. It's been a long day here in the group stage, but we're finally at the end of the road and finally at the end of the series we've had so far. Dax still with Tash yet again. Tash, you've been quite a trooper here, doing all four in a row, but it's time now to see who will be able to move on. It's South Asia Zone Velocity Gaming versus Hong Kong Taiwan's Oblivion Force. And really, it's a bit of a rematch in a way in terms of the regions. We saw Global Esports and Griffin in the play-ins. This time, though, their top seed counterparts, really, they give us more of a match here.
It's going to be really exciting seeing how these two regions play. It's my first time actually seeing these two regions in general. So when you talk about these two teams, they have actually never met each other. In terms of scrims, you're not going to see them play together. In terms of how each side plays is also very, very different because of that difference in the region in general. So this is our first Icebox of today. I'm so happy because today, a lot of maps that we saw was actually surprisingly, we saw Vines, we saw Haven, and even Ascent after a while. But what do you think of these lineups?
Yeah, lineup-wise, Hong Kong Taiwan, no surprise, they stick to what works for them, and they are going to be running that chamber to boot. I kind of want to talk about more on the Velocity Gaming side, because Amaterasu himself flexing on over. Very flexible player. Usually he plays the Reyna on Icebox. This time it's the KO instead, and there are many believers of the KO on Icebox. Suppress value just to go for those entries alongside what the Jet can do. And in all honesty, that's the interesting thing about the South Asian region. Coming into SEA, coming into APAC, they're the ones willing to experiment, push things a little bit more in terms of the envelope. But at the same time, the concerns are still there. Can they keep out with some of the mechanics that Southeast Asia is able to bring to the table? There are a few fundamental enters we saw a while ago, or last week, from Global Esports. But in all honesty, I've been watching some Velocity Gaming games, and I really feel like they're a bit more on the team orientation side. Keep an eye out on their Jets Deathmaker, because I honestly feel like, this is my hot take, I kind of like Deathmaker in all honesty over what SK Rossi can do for his team, because it really feels like when you have the global esports side, it's everyone chasing after what SK Rossi can do. He is a mythical player from South Asia, an absolute superstar, and can bring in the impact. But as a unit, Deathmaker is more consistent at getting those takedowns, more consistent to play with that team. And that might be the discipline that can help South Asia move forward. It can't just be a superstar player for your team against another region. It has to be a whole unit, and we'll see if you can feel the velocity as we get into the game, or will Oblivion Force be able to obliterate as Chimay and Noman, they're gonna get the takedowns here. Quick aggression from the defense. Deathmaker will get one Furious Meow with the answer, but VLT, they're already losing out to the players, but Deathmaker bringing deaths onto 2.
Yep, that's right. It is finally a 3 versus 2 situation here. They're not scared. Our Deathmaker playing on the aggressive, gets a 3-piece. They get that 4. Will it be a 5? They're gonna help him out, but Q all the way in the back there, immediately running for his life, trying to find another angle just to make sure that they're gonna be coming onto site. But we'll look at where the spike is. They actually left that in the beginning. They were just trying to play on the aggressive. They were playing this ball. That's exactly why they went onto the site. However, though, look at that. Q was kind of like, what he's trying to see here is that, are we going to be seeing a rotate? Are we going to be seeing if they're going to be coming through? But right now, I think Deathmaker is looking for that ace, but Q wants to deny him if possible. But Deathmaker's so low right now.
I mean, we have the time to talk about the competitions here. Oblivion Force gonna be a bit cheeky with that chamber. Those trademarks even better than having a Killjoy, honestly, on a map like this. Put 2 alarm bots rather than just 1. Slower also, the slow field rather, also very effective against any kind of push. But Velocity now getting intel towards the A side. No one is home. Spikes planted even, and then a 2v1. I think the players to really keep an eye out for right now for Velocity, besides Deathmaker, has to be right to ace, or sometimes called right to clutch by some of the SA community. Also Hell FF, he's been popping off, honestly. Hell FF is someone to watch out for Q right now. Watched over by Amaterasu, and that's the 1 point for Velocity to kick off this last series.
See that crossfire from the, I got your back, bro, you got mine. That's friendship. But I really gotta say, Velocity, just now, what happened from Oblivion Force, they started off really, really good, but the problem is that they're not able to reposition themselves. Yes, the dash was there, but he actually dashed into the wall. Deathmaker was just able to just reposition and just take it away. And it was just so hard for Oblivion Force to do anything. They are on the defensive side, but at the end of the day, we didn't really see that, and that's how they play this. They love playing these aggressive plays coming from the side of Velocity.
Yeah, Velocity, they're going to be willing to play for some aggression, but they also know to hold back and play for that map control instead. And talk about the Oblivion Force, it's the same kind of thing for the HA Taiwan side. Punish play is real, and there's a certain player who's anything and everything. His name is Chimay, but his name has already been put on the board by Deathmaker, so that flexibility doesn't pan out. LFF as the action first towards that A side, it's still a flank towards B, and Velocity now watching their flank and waiting for the Viper and someone to
Look at that, immediately goes forward, immediately the crossfire just doing so good, and it's just looking so bad right now from Oblivion Force. We are actually seeing those defuses coming through, but I think it's Oblivion Force all alone in the back there. What can No Man do, honestly? Look at that, that's a team ace. So well, 1 kill each. Just very well.
Double initiator
We're seeing the foundations already of Velocity Gaming. They're happy to make some fakes work that they understand how much they can get of the map.
Either
and how much
double
they can get
controller
of the
गेले
map.
असते
There's
किंवा
no
double
keeping
initiator
over
गेले
the
असते
numbers
Oblivion
right
वाले.
now. Deadmaker looking very consistent with the 5 takedowns. It's not an effort though from Oblivion Force anyway
How
to break the
close was
aggression from that side of the map. Trying to play the flank would have been a bit more effective though if
Chamber
they
तर half
go
duelist
man
आहे.
there
Chamber मारू
peak
शकतो.
earlier rather from the south side. And well, time now for the guns. Let's see what Oblivion Force can really do in this series.
Yep, that's right. And the only thing that Velocity has are the Spectres. The run and gun is possible, but Vibor will be the first one knocked out of the game. It is projected that the better guns will always win, but if you do get some picks out, it will affect the economy in ways. Not everyone will be able to stick together when it comes to getting guns together in the next round. At least
Now the
for
bonus
a
होता.
team sort of work. But this time around, we are seeing a very
Bonus round
different
देवाचा round.
VLT. They're like, okay, we're gonna press the brakes on this one. We already went super fast just now. Let's see how we do when we play really slow.
All about cleanliness though for this kind of series. You can be neater on the approach for both sides. Velocity now. Well, they're playing the slow compared to their name. The outro and the 0 point are gonna come. Double initiator though.
Oh भाई.
What the utilities
Shot
can really do here.
detected.
Tash forces the side of
Shot.
Oblivion Force back on the way. Fierce Miado
Nice
with a
play.
takedown. But the entry is still real. Velocity coming on through. Put the wall on the left hand side, and this is gonna be a plan.
तू कशाला बघतो अबे?
Right here. They still have control over Oblivion Force.
Switch लाव ना,
Yes,
move.
and Fierce
Oh
Meow
my
is not
God.
done.
That immediately
Switch वरती
one
मग
after
तुझा
the other.
timing बरोबर
Health
बसणार.
will be getting at least one in return
YouTube
as
party है.
Hyperthor out of the game. Health all alone right now. Can he do anything out of that? Not quite. And this is the round where finally
काढला round.
Oblivion Force just
काढला,
takes
काढला.
the home.
Nice,
Because as
nice
you know,
bonus, nice.
they are on a buy round. They do have
Flat
better
तो मिला.
guns, but they did lose 2 out of that. So in terms of sticking out the next round, let's see how it goes. Looks like let's see how they play there. Look at that. Nomad just catches them off guard there. But look at that Fierce me out. Playing it very, very slow. This is a very, very calculated sort of move when you think about it. He was actually
आपला
promoted
lower
there.
line
But
वर
the thing
jet
about
एवढे
Fierce Meow
फट्टू
is that
असतात
he's
ना
not
बाहेर.
scared to play those aggressive angles. He will wait. He will just swing out of
Jet
nowhere.
खेलो तो
and you
ऐसा
have to
खेलो
be
भाई.
at that.
Yeah, and the whole time on side they love to do
वरना ना
those
खेलो.
flashes. Not only that, even though there was a good 0 point there courtesy of Matarasu, Furious Meow didn't need really his utilities for the rest of the
So
fight.
what
He
is-
used the fire orbs and slow orbs.
Oh.
Happy
Oh.
to just go for the kill
Oh.
instead.
Oh,
This has
no.
to
DM
be
on
lost.
fire.
Be careful with the angles, and there you have it. Great angle here taken. by
app
the
download
Maker
कर.
over onto Hyperthor. Now does
Oh,
map
yeah.
on the way. Spike is in the hands of right the
टाकला
base, though.
tweet.tv.
But it's a slower pace right now as you see her the attacking side trying to size up and also looking to see if they can exploit maybe some overextensions of
Nah,
the
PC.
side of
Stream
Oblivion.
चालू है.
Nomad, though, still gets one. Q is
Stream
there.
is going
You have
on,
to
my
respect
friend.
the mechanical prowess of the first seed of the HH on one side.
Yep, that's right. OF just looking so strong right now. Once they figured out how exactly this team
कसे मेले ये
plays,
लोक?
they are finally just gonna swing back just as hard as the starter happens. They are very aware of
एक pick
at
मिला
least
party
where
हो ना.
some of the members are. But Vibor playing
Oh.
it super aggressive here.
Oh.
Oh my god, Nomad could have been
वाचला,
tagged there,
वाचला.
just running by the skin of his teeth. Q from the side there.
हिल आली आहे.
Scrape one. He had an idea that someone was there, but he wasn't sure.
काढलास तरी
But
ह्याला तर
variation,
पकड.
though, and Oblivion Force already anticipating
आता
any
बघ,
kind of
विवर
angle
मारतो
here
का?
from
विवर मेला.
Velocity, but
विवर
right
मेला.
space. All things together. Busy though with the bow and arrow, and he does get surprised by the chamber from the yellow box. Not only that, Fierce Meow has been getting some kills, so Hyperthor brought back to life. 13 seconds left. All onto Hellfighter here.
Valorant Esports 3.
This seems like to be a save. This is looking to
Valorant
be interesting
Esports 3
from
search
Oblivion
कर.
Force. In single combat, they can actually outshoot Velocity right now.
Yeah. They actually know he's there. It's just a joke. But let's talk a little bit about how they play. I think Velocity, when they play together, they're absolutely strong. But when they're put in a
त्याच्यावरती
situation
मला तर
where
वाटतं
they're
spike plant
isolated,
करायची काही
that's
गरजच
where
नाही बाई.
everything just falls apart. So now when you see how
सगळ्यांनी
Fierce
fight घेतली ना,
Meow played
सगळे
just
मरणार.
now, you saw how he got one after the other. That's not one
मला
of
वाटतं
those
spike न
situations
plant करता
where they're
new
not
meta
working
आहे
together
त्याचा.
as a whole team.
Icebox
We didn't
चा.
talk about right to Ace. He is a little bit more on the aggressive side. I think what VLT
Spike
what
plant
Velocity
तेव्हाच
was
कामी येतो
kind of
जेव्हा
like doing just now. They were trying to
1v2
keep the momentum. They wanna be
1v1
as fast
असेल
as
तेव्हाच
possible.
कामी येतो
But the
spike
thing is,
plant.
OF is just able to just hit the bricks if
Spike
they
meter
want to.
बोलतो base मध्ये
But he
टाकून
says
फिरा.
no man goes, nah man. That maker more like a jet
मारला
difference,
बघ.
at least for this round for the knives.
नुसता जेट डिफ चालू
stretch
आहे.
there, but let's see now velocity.
बरं त्याने हट पण नाही
You
गोल्डी
did
हा.
make a good point though before your amazing knowledge. This guy is stayed together. They have a really good chance, but then in these kind of duels, maybe someone like Right Blaze
Oh,
can't get the
Amila.
hell out of there and win it out.
Come on Ace,
Go
come
for
on
the
Ace.
push, though, and it's actually a transition
Pamela,
here.
तुझा गाववाला आहे
Velocity
काय?
rotation is something they do love to do when they feel like they can get even just a bit of that map control. Q has backed on the way, and it's going to be time now for Oblivion Force to basically respect the wall and regroup instead.
And that
Hello.
siege wall just saving them. This is the new wall, I suppose. We want
Ball.
to plan all the way on to B. They have the site, and the problem
Come
is
sprint all the way.
Oblivion Force. They had all the area. I'm not too sure why they gave up so much space to Oblivion Force. And Oblivion Force,
मेरे को
they're
देखने
the
दे
kind of
जरा.
team that's like they're just so oppressive once they can get the positions or angles. But no man coming in from the back immediately has to go on the aggressive to avoid that right to Ace. That's why Chibi out of the way. The sheriff does come out, spams it out. He can't see anything, but will get caught out on the side. Amaterasu is pretty much ready for him. So there it is. That's the end of that. VLT playing it very well to get from different angles.
As you can see there, just grouping on up, being very effective. Looking for so a bit too desperate for my liking about getting that spike. They already got halfway, maybe they could have gone for the doubles instead. And the loss of the understanding, multiple angles, they can come on in, objectively basis. Was a good start though, courtesy of No Man. But you can notice how Amaterasu is just moving on around the AMF
Your
as
call.
well.
Your
Very
call.
effective towards that yellow side, and velocity, more of a well-oiled machine compared to what we've seen from South Asia so far. Maybe if anyone can do it, this is a squad that can go even further. For now, Oblivion Force ready to go for the aggress. Good suppress though this time from Amaterasu, preventing the push there. Let's see Oblivion Force. No man though, operator in hand, trying to see if anyone's gonna come through the pipe so far. Oh, he makes it and he's just in front of everyone, reloading. Velocity with a punish to me from up top. LFF though with the takedown. Velocity right now with control of the side, even goes for the rest, but someone needs to protect the teammate, and before is there for the takedown. Hyperthor from above, 4v2 for now. Velocity, they're able to get away with that one and punish No Man and his misses.
Yeah, that's right. Look at how many utilities were used. Hyperthor is still up now. They are gonna find out. No, he just misses it. He gets one in the back, but look at that. Deathmaker was pretty much ready for him, and Amaterasu just wraps it all up. Amaterasu.
Can.
And this is the kind of aggressive plays I really wanted to see from a KO, and that is why it's so impressive when you use a KO. Not really that useful when you put it on B, because the B side is just absolutely huge. But A, the smaller little area, this really covers. It encompasses the whole entire area. Look at that, Hell FF health. When he plays, you can see that he got so many frags to the point that this is pretty early. He already has res.
Yeah, you were right with the first name. It's LFM or Hellfight actually. If you want the longer version of it. Velocity though, that was a great timing from Amaterasu, and that's what you want to see for the side of Velocity, aiming to get that KO suppression at the right time, punish Oblivion Force from pushing even deeper. And in that kind of scenario, that means Oblivion Force can't go for those single duels. They can't go for those aggressive peaks as often as they would like. So instead now, the group up is real. And that might be where Velocity can have the advantage. Null Commando is the call. Default wall yet again. And Velocity right now trying to hug the side as much as possible. Even finds Q through the smoke. It's Deathmaker there on the board again.
You really got to give it to Deathmaker. He just goes straight deep into the site, just gets those really, really pesky people on the back of the site, so you don't really have to. Look how much utility is there. You can see OF just no clue where to go or how to push in. You can see that right now. Chibi wants to get those picks if he can. Immediately, that knife just gets his guns out of the way. And Deathmaker 3-piece right now, but he's not that health right now. Takes a Hyperthor out of the way, and that's the end of that. Deathmaker with a 4-piece, not quite the ace, just a piece from.
That's clean here from Deathmaker, and his background is also on the high side.
What
Yet
a
Velocity being
beating,
one of the top 2 teams in South Asia right now at the very top of the class
Hello.
sports in BCC. But not only that, Netmaker's origins, he did come from Global Esports in a way, but on the CS side rather than Valorant, giving that up, going here, going to Velocity, and he really fits this team well. There's a lot more. I feel like there's a lot more hubris right now, a lot more things working out here for the side of Velocity, and it's not just the fact that their jet is popping right now from the get-go, but as a unit, you mentioned it, they're bunched up, they go for the execute, and it's really looking clean, and not just in parity, but I guess this is what SA can really bring to the table when given a squad that works together.
Yeah, that's right. I think throughout today we haven't seen yet this kind of strat rather. I mean, we saw it kind of from Mongoose, but it was still very different than this. They play together, but in a different way. However, when you think about it this way, Velocity Gaming, when you put them together, you know that there's going to be multiple angles taken around. Isn't that, in a way, we want to talk about trades. I don't think it's a trade as well, because when it comes to that first contact, we always see Velocity has the higher advantage compared to OF in general. Look at that. Nomad does find help in return. He tried to get a double, but doesn't quite get it. Oblivion triples blocked by as well. Bimor will stop that raid on Terror. Teammate does trade that outright to Ace. Will stop teammate in return. The F-Finger so deep into the site. Knives already out. When you think about this is the second time he has it, and they're only so early into the game. Hyperthor trying to get some information here. But look at that. Knives come out immediately. He gets one. Amaterasu will get Q in return, and then suddenly it's a 2 versus 3. Very close. VLT just showing why the best is.
Yeah, Crossfire is
Nomad ने मारने उससे ना दे orange का shot
the
आगे
attention with the
green
blade
का
start, but
shot.
Amaterasu is striking like the sun and is getting the takedowns.
I saw what you did there with the
Of course.
Amaterasu.
I know my Japanese folklore, but the thing is, it was a good start from Living Force, and if they can just survive that initial onslaught, if they can hit in those kind of spots early on, we're gonna be seeing the best that they can, the best roles that they can bring on out. But Velocity, the cleanup was real after. It was an even trade, and once it became a post-ban scenario, their positions looking a lot more clean compared to some of the stats we've seen from Living Force so far. And it's Velocity actually taking a time to just call to the fact that they still have to be careful about the dual potential here of Living Force. Beyond that, though, we haven't seen, I'd say, as much from Oblivion Force. Moments there from Chimay, moments there from Nomad, moments there from Furious Meow, but those are really just absolute combat. We're not getting the real utility usage that you'd expect from maybe a Chamber and
No, I felt like Chimay was a little bit underwhelming, and there is a reason why. When you look at Oblivion Force, they're a team that they really need their utilities to actually really shine. But the problem is Amaterasu is not allowing that to happen. And whenever they throw in the knife, you are going to be seeing, you're going to be running in with the knife as well. They just waste no time at all. There's always going to be a follow-up. And in a situation where you're not able to fight back, or rather only rely on your guns, that makes it so hard. But this time around, the knife doesn't, I don't think it can be anyone. So for now, OF doing very well. They're still very much alive, but Q does find Amaterasu, but you are going to be seeing that trade coming out as well. And right to Ace finds Nomad, which is a really good pick. Right to Ace, his Hunter's Fury is actually going to tag a few people, and on top of that, makes a little bit more space for his team.
Yeah, it prevents Oblivion Force from peeking the way they want, and Vibor is there to get the takedown.
Nice,
Deathmaker again is distraction. It's interesting, right? You're looking at the screen right now from a server point of view, and you think, oh, it's this guy we're watching getting the kill, but no, it's someone on the side, and that's really what the whole setup of Velocity right now. Protect each other, protect one another, and push as one. It was, of course, a pistol round here from Oblivion Force. What?
The power of friendship.
Exactly. But even though Oblivion Force again got the start that they wanted, get to the I'm really liking the fact that Velocity
One side
is able
pelted,
to
one
reel
side.
back, reset themselves, or do something to buy that space, just so they don't get
हेच तर
caught up
असतं.
on the ways of Oblivion Force.
ड्युएलिस्टने पहिल्या वेळेला स्टार्टिंगला फर्स्ट ब्लड वगैरे थोडं काढायची असतात, नंतर सगळे बाकीचे बरोबर मारतात.
Just no angle left unturned. Even he can immediately get shot
Really?
so hard.
आपले ड्युएलिस्ट घुसतच नाही.
Anything. But in a way, right now, look at that. Immediately, Deathmaker gets one. He knows there's another one there. So there's going to be a second for him. In terms of gunplay, Deathmaker is just so good. And that's the reason why his team is just so easily getting onto the site.
नाही, राउंड सिक्युअर करायचा भाई, राउंड सिक्युअर. That's the mentality.
So hard for anyone to look at that. Immediately he spawns someone out. Here's Meow.
Alt वाचून काय घरी जाऊन नाही
Tag
जायची.
as well.
आता तो बाहेरचा जेट मारला
Out,
मग.
and he's seen that
तिसरा
maker
मारला.
right
Come
place
on,
at the
ace.
right time.
DMS
Ronaldo
खालून गेला.
where Jameis
अरे
trying to
बापरे,
come
काय
from.
झालं?
While he's getting the take here, gets on the
अरे
outside.
बाबा, याला
Time is running on.
अरे निंजा डिफ्यूज.
Was he
ए
spiked?
नाही,
Was he
नाही.
finally realized it?
विवोर आहे, विवोर आहे. नशीब.
For the team, he needs to get the
हा
take
कुठे
down.
गेला?
ओ भाई,
Scary for
विवोर
Velocity,
टू द
but they win
सेव.
the round a little
विवोर टू द रेस्क्यू.
hunting the operator, and I feel like
आता
it's not
झाली
worth
असती.
it because no man will shoot you
हा
down
ना.
in those single combats.
जास्त
Beyond that,
चॉड होत आहेत.
Velocity saved themselves from quite the predicaments in
17 किल मारले त्याने. काय चालू आहे? कोण डबल डिजिट मध्ये नाही अजून.
Yeah, it just got so lucky. He was like, oh wait, I forgot. I actually have my Vipers.
काय खेळतोय हा?
Got this guy. Then just walked away.
आता त्याचे फर्स्ट ब्लड बघूया.
No,
भेंडी
you're not gonna embarrass us.
आता 7-8 असतील मला वाटतं.
आताचा आताचाच राऊंड
I was
फर्स्ट
too
मध्ये
busy shopping for
तो बघ, तो
skins
full-
that I forgot to. Oh, I was supposed
तो
to
चोपायला झालाय.
I watched
वे हेलिक काय खेळतोय एवढं फॉरवर्ड.
नाही, सगळे आता खुलले आहेत. त्यांचा टॉप फ्रॅगर 17 किलवर आहे भाई. का नाही खुलणार? सरळ चढून मारणार आता तर. काहीच नाही करू शकत. हे बघ,
IGL बघा
IGL पण सोपतोय आता तर.
And this is just as clean as can be from Southeast Jazz last hope. It's 9-2 right
ही
now.
स्कीम भारी आहे.
Well, the other regions here
Keep
saying
going.
hello to SEA.
That's right, as
एक्सकेली चूती आहे ना भाई.
and very scary as
सोडून
well when
गेला.
you think about it. And what I really like about it is that when you think about these kind of players on this
तेव्हा
top
जर नाही
level,
सोडली असती ना
oh my God,
भाई,
जाऊ दे ना, DM full फटके घेतो.
मागची VCT आपलीच होती बाई.
हे लोक पण ओळखतात. He is good.
I gotta step up, and immediately he gets like 2-3 picks out of that in return. So in a way, it's not just Deathmaker that's just really making it so easy. It's just like everyone, not only are they taking care of each
कोणत्या
other's
team मध्ये
backs,
गेला?
everyone can
कोण?
step up when they need
Ellie?
to.
एनिग्मा.
Notice this, that we have Deathmaker here. Oh, he's dead though, but War will get the trade onto Nomad. And what I noticed is as Velocity are getting these kills, it's a very rifle heavy game. Has Deathmaker actually whipped out the operator? Not so far. Vivorno with 3 right bases there, and I was just pointing out the fact, and then Velocity decides
domination
to
area.
basically end the round, and
Bye,
there you
bye.
go, we're done with the half. 2-10.
My
Velocity
God.
Gaming is just speeding
तो
through
सतत
Oblivion Force right now.
DM चालू आहे.
This is
DM
the fastest half.
डेथ मॅच लावली असं वाटतं.
So far today.
टीमने एक पण नाही मारला
Or
राऊंड.
anything. This one's for you. I don't want to jinx it. Maybe this one's for you. You
I
had a
don't want
long
to say
day.
anything. This is
विभोर
almost
बाबा
11
इथं
hours
डबल
for me,
किल
and I'm still
असाच
going
घेऊन
on
गेला.
pretty strong. But I just gotta say,
विभोर
the
बघ.
velocity
हे बघ, तिसरा.
really
त्याला खोललाच आहे. तो
just
तिकडे
really
घुसून
close
तो
the
मिड मध्ये
match.
त्यांना असा मारतोय ना, ते लोक काय करूच नाही
As
शकत
well,
आहेत.
they play together as a unit.
हा दुसरा का तिसरा राऊंड तो फ्लँक करतोय त्यांच्यावर.
And OF does not know how to play together as a team.
आणि ते त्याला बघतच नाहीत. मिड मध्ये एक अलार्म बॉट तरी टाक.
And on top of that, Oman does get some picks now
त्यांच्यातला
and then. But the thing is, it's more of
आधी
small
पहिले
mistakes
2 राऊंड
that
मध्ये
they get
हो
punished for.
हा
And every
जेट
time
भारी
they get
खेळत
punished for
होता.
their mistakes, you're gonna be
हे
seeing
असंच
someone
जर
else
का
step up
साला
to kind of like
ग्लोबल वाले
bang
खेळले
that.
असते ना.
Yeah, Velocity is punishing the punishers. You
नाही,
see
नाही,
that
असंच
there
खेळत
are
होते.
times where Oblivion Force has the
आपला
right heat
रॉसी
against a
पुढे
certain
जात
opponent.
होता.
खूप
पण
इगर
जास्त
खेळला.
पुढे
हा,
He's
खूप
someone
इगरली
from
खेळत होता
Velocity
तो.
that's prepared to protect them, that's prepared to help them out. And it's just a unit system right now for Velocity that has given them
तो
this kind
पिसाळलेला.
of success.
हा
I think
कंट्रोल
number
मध्ये
17,
तरी.
I'm a little surprised though, Vipor isn't
व तो
the
17 किलवर आहे तरी पण तो काय
noisiest
पिसाळत
player in
नाही.
terms of the kill count for
या राऊंड
Velocity,
मध्ये
but
कुठे
he's
तो पुढे
really
गेला
stepping on
जास्त.
up right now as well, and that's another gun that Velocity can deal with. If more players pop up here for Velocity, it's going to be easier to keep parity with the potential of Oblivion Force. And with an
Yep,
8
that's
round
right.
gap like this, I think the
झाला
best thing
GG.
Oblivion Force really can do right now is they have to play a hard entry,
कोणाचं आहे
maybe get
timeout?
Fury's Mouth to go for the rest of
त्यांचाच
the
ऑफकोर्स.
they need
बस 10-2 हरतायत ते.
because if the
Yeah.
round goes longer and Velocity gets a right rotate,
हा पिस्टल गेला की झालं ना, संपलं ना.
angle they want against their opponent.
Yeah, on top of that, though, I really want to say that how they're going to play this attack is going to be very, very simple.
एवढा लेट
Amaterasu,
टाइम आउट घेतात
if
नाही
he
लोक
manages
खरंच.
to actually
केव्हा घेतला पाहिजे
find
होता माहिती आहे का 7-2 चालू होता ना तेव्हाच घेतला पाहिजे होता.
entry sites where they want to go for either A or B. It actually really halts
हे
their
लोकांनी ग्रिफिनला
their
कसं
ability
हरवलं मला
usage
तेच
when they're trying to get onto site. And you know how hard it is when you don't have the right
आणि
skills,
Oblivion
you
वाल्याने?
don't have all the information they need,
बरोबर आहे
especially
ना.
from
अरे
Q,
हे बघ
because he needs
आता
those
जसं
lineups.
VLT
People
ने
are
जीला
already
हरवलं ना
waiting for the cavalry on the
तसे
site. Immediately
ओब्लिव्हियन
they're gonna give
वाल्यांनी
some space
ग्रिफिनला
there for
हरवून
them, because
त्यांना
one thing about
लोअर
VLT
ब्रॅकेट
that I
मध्ये
noticed is that
ढकलली.
they're not afraid to make
Oh.
they're not afraid to give up their site, because they just
समजलं
kind of
मी तेच
reposition
विचार
themselves
करतो या लोकांनी
towards wait for
हरवलं
the other
कसं.
team. Look at that, pincer play is coming.
तो किलजॉय बघितले ना काय
This pinch can work.
पिसाटलेला प्लेअर आहे.
Backline being watched over by Q, goes inside the tube.
Oh.
Zero point shot. Third.
शॉट रे
Now the
अमातेरासू.
velocity. They set up a trap well, just encasing Q in a
Backup
metal
बघतोय तू?
coffin in the middle. Let's
का नेक्स्ट लेवल बॅकअप चालू आहे.
हा ना.
Or that one pickoff. Of course, ends up the wall there as
Oh,
well.
oh,
Momentum is
oh,
going
oh,
on.
oh.
Monterosso, great angle here from Nomad to get
फिशी
two.
फिशी
He might be the
काय
man to
चालू
watch out.
आहे?
Shipping gets on the
अरे
front.
काय चालू आहे?
Force getting the fights that they want. The fisticuffs are there.
बाय एवढा चांगला पिक भेटलेला.
Too much of investment from velocity.
चल एक राऊंड देवाचा.
Went for the cleanup instead.
Yep, that's right. I think that's a
Comeback or what?
in terms of getting onto the site as a unit. Okay, they have it down pat. But what about holding your angles in defense? That's also another question as it is. But let's have a look at that health coming in from pincers from multiple angles. They do get some hard weight, but look at how they react. Immediately they reposition themselves. Immediately they find multiple angles to make sure that okay, they're not playing together. They're actually quite scattered. So make sure that they're isolated and make sure to peek together. This is actually something that we saw earlier from the side of
आता स्लोच
OF
खेळलं
actually.
पाहिजे. बाबा उभा आहे का कुठे?
Fall into
अरे
Maker now.
टायमिंग
Yes,
ओ माय गॉड
the
टायमिंग
sheriff just in case. Most of the guns now on the side of
भेटला असता रे वायपरचा
them
पिक.
out as they
अरे
want
काय
to
करतोय?
force
अरे अरे अरे
side. Thing is, Q don't win to find out the Deathmaker.
Anti,
Right
anti,
in
ठीक है.
front. Overall, Oblivion Force is more suited really for the attacking side, and I think that's one thing I noticed about squads from the HQ.
Flash ची
side. They
timing
struggle
जरा
sometimes
चुकली.
on the defense if they can't keep up with the roles that they want to force. But when they're on the attacking side, they're the ones who command the attention. They will tell which side we're attacking, which side we're gonna get the combat. And while VLT also has the lesser buy, it's easier here for the side of the Oblivion Force. Spikes planted,
Shot.
shot from Nomad to get the takedown. Jimmy is there.
अरे जेट
Finalize
खतरनाक
the
नाही,
round,
त्याला
and
त्याला
it's
थांबवा.
4-10.
तो जर
First
पिसायला ना
round
नो मॅन
for Oblivion Force.
Yep, that's right.
मग काय
Oblivion
खरं नाही
Force
बाय.
looking so strong right now. This may be the comeback they need. VLT, they just can't really crack the code on how they want to play attack. Play defense on this. Look at that.
Attacking
They
मध्ये
are way
घेणार
more
आहे तो.
aggressive.
आता हा राऊंड गेला ना की
But
कमबॅक
this
इज
comes
रिअल
back to
बाय.
just trying to figure out how exactly they play. And this is exactly the same sort of like recipe that we saw earlier from VLT as
आणि
well.
ते मला नाही
They
वाटत
just
आहे
kinda
की
scatter out and just kind of like take them isolated one by one.
डुबवणार आहेत आता.
First seed, so might get even more interesting from this point.
केवढं फॉरवर्ड उभे आहेत बघ
Buys
बीला.
now
Bak, bak.
available for velocity. Initial positions, they do want to just go
हे
for
बघ, बघ, हे
early
दोघं
picks.
पण.
इकडे इंडियन मुंबई सर्व्हर मध्ये भाय बी कोणती साईट आहे? बी साईट माहितीच नाही आम्हाला. 4-1 खेळणार आम्ही. बी तर ते येऊच शकत नाहीत असं आहे.
घंटा गेला राऊंड आपण.
नाही नाही मारला थांब
गेला रे गेला.
विबोरला वाचवा.
बोललो ना.
अरे अरे अरे
Oh my
गेला.
god.
अबो
अभी तो गया हाँ. अमातेरासू फ्लॅश का नाही करत आहे?
Yup,
Flash
that's
नव्हता.
right. No man, just really making it that much space as much as
दोन्ही
their
flash
death was
टाकून
doing
मोकळा
earlier.
झाला.
Health check for a side there, but Q is
Nice
just
trade.
running for them. Matarosa trades
2v3
him out.
2v3 come on.
Think about it, immediately
अरे
switch
अरे अरे
out.
अरे अरे
They're
थांब
trying
थांब.
to get Tears meow out of the way.
Oh, oh,
But look
oh.
at where they are. They are coming in from multiple angles. They are isolated. There's
So,
no
अब त्यांचा
crossfires
काय
coming
एकदम
through. But
शातीर
looking
आहे?
at from the side, they
अब
are coming
DM
from two
आता.
angles
भाई.
there. He is very aware that Hyperthor's on their side. Deathmaker finds no
नाही नाही
man
असे
in return. But the question is,
हे
how
असं
is
पण
Deathmaker
kill
gonna
तरी
get on
घेतले
site?
पाहिजे.
Is the
Economy
situation where
तोडली
he's
पाहिजे.
all alone. It's 1 versus 2. If he can isolate them, that will be an issue.
परत
But for
वाचला.
now, I think it's gonna
एक बुलेटचा मेहमान आहे डेथमेकर.
Hyperthor gonna find him in the back here, but who is just faster at the initial shots here? It's gonna be Materasu.
चिट्यावरून मारला.
There's a little third parties out of nowhere. Amaterasu
अरे तो सोवा हे काय टाकत आहे तोपर्यंत डाट टाकला असता
winning after
आ जातो
bonus. I think that was a little too,
Ah.
let's say, passive on the side of
Oh.
Velocity. They just let no man's
मला वाटलेलं विभोर जिधर पिक हो गया
And
ना
later on in the retake, yes, there's that pitch
राउंड गया
potential.
उधर ही
But while they're too afraid to lose their guns, they didn't decide to duel the angles there of Oblivion Force. And also here knows that Oblivion
बोललो
Force
ना मी
wants
तो
to
कारण
play
की
the closer
त्याच्यात
angles
त्यांनी
anyway. So since they
त्यांचा
got
हेच
on the
नाही
way, they gave
थांबवला
up the site, they gave up the points. See right now that
पुश
save can help
थांबवला
them out
असताना
this
जरा
time because Oblivion Force is ready for the rebuy. All is on up and the snowball effect
परत
might
बी
start
पुश
really from here.
बी इझी आहे आता बी इझी
हा
आहे
राऊंड आपला आहे हा राऊंड आपला
घंटा हे काय 3 शरीफ बाय
The light of day when it
दोन
comes to the
वॅन्डल
switch
बाय
here. Look at that, they're just so
बघ ना तू.
dominating, and this is the kind of thing we saw earlier. And then we talked about this in terms of adaptability. It looks like
Wall ला
one
तुटत आहे
that's
यांच्याच्याने.
adapting is gonna be OF. But look at that, even with the
Yellow ला
suppress,
काहीतरी
no man
टाकायला.
was just like, nah, I don't need my abilities. All I need is my
दिला रे.
rifle. He gets Deathmaker out of the way.
तुला काय बोललो?
Shime gonna be coming from the side. That's a double for him.
जाऊ दे जाऊ दे
Big things in
काय
first.
जाऊ दे?
Now I'm gonna find his other half over the other half. But his
What do you mean
counter
जाऊ दे
immediately flawless for them. This is
झालं
very,
10-6
very
झाला कमबॅक इज रिअल
Like the KO
काय जाऊ दे
usually can get value against many teams, but
अरे
against
या
like
राऊंडला
Oblivion
इन्व्हेस्टमेंट
Force,
होते आता
you're
येईल
gonna
नाही
need more than the
इन्व्हेस्टमेंट
0 points. Players like Nomad, he can
Ah,
shrug it off. He
मारले
doesn't need to get
यार.
out.
आता
He
हा
was
राऊंड
one
गेला
of
ना
the tap
भाई
that
10 ऑल
was.
आहे 10 ऑल
Did you see that first kill? Just like click, boom, dead.
आता
Other
बघू
one
काय
there as well.
करतात
It's just so precise.
का मारला बघ चेंबरने
And that's the thing about this side of Oblivion.
सेम माझ्यासारखा मारला ना
Decide to
जेट हार्ड
overtake
खेळत
and
आला
they just
टच
come in
झाला
as
बो
an absolute tie.
आपल्या जेटला
And I really
मग
feel
तेच
for
तर
Velocity, it's not the
तुला
0
बोललेलो
point you're gonna be watching
तो
here
जर
for
का
the KO.
उघडला
Flash tries to get
हा
the
डिफेन्स
flash
मॅप
on.
नाही रे
Maybe shot
अटॅकिंगच
that's
मॅप
right,
आहे
release the slow orb. Anything that can give you an advantage in
डिफेंस
battle,
कर करके
because
किधर
right now
करेंगे
it's Oblivion Force calling for the rules of engagement their way, and they're just
येडं
overrunning
उलट
Velocity
ह्याच्यात
right now.
आता
Does
ते हे
have the
केलंय
guns this
म्हणून
time.
डिफेन्स नाही करू शकत
हा हे एवढी सेटिंग बदलली आहे ना येल्लो विल्लोची
येल्लो चेंज झालाय परत ते हे
together as a unit on defense
कभी.
because when you look at how they're kind of like
ना तर
positioned,
full
they're just
city
so,
side
so
map झालेला.
separated, they're kind of thinned out, and when they're not able to play together, I think what they can do is they don't have to be
ए वरती
so
चेंजेस नाहीत
out
फक्त
one
बी
by
मध्येच
one.
चेंजेस
They
आहेत
can just wait for their teammates and
A मध्ये पण आहेत
the
जरासे.
retakes together as well. They don't really have to kind of like rush this, but look at that on A 1 2 3.
ते बेल्ट वेल्टचं काहीतरी केलंय
That OF is already on B, and look at how fast they move. They can go really quiet and really just go on the
Wait,
aggressive.
Vibor
And
गेला,
rotates,
संपला.
unfortunately, from VLT is just a little bit too slow. Vibor was all alone. This was
हे बघ अजून हे
exactly
मध्ये
what I was
टच
talking about.
So see it here.
संपला
कॉल देईल तेव्हा ना
हेच गेला लिफ्ट गेला राईट टू
अच्छा,
एस
बघितलं का पिक होत आहे ते लोक तुला काय बोललो हे राऊंड गया तो गया भाई
थोडा
ओ!
थोडा
दोन मारले
The nature of the Sova. But really the numbers on the other side to shut him down. Darto does come. Will get
आता नोमॅन मारणार
3v1. Look at the hunt from Oblivion
Oh
Force.
my
They still
God.
want to fight. They're just not gonna
They're
accept
looking for him. Will you double
Agla.
want to know? Well, that's a double.
हगला ग बाई हगला
Just a little bit faster. It's a tree as well.
झाडच उगवलं ब्रिजच्या आरपार झाड उगवलं वाव
येडा उलट 2-3 आरामात भेटले असते
हा इझी किल्स होते
It's
ते बघत पण नव्हते त्याच्याकडे
हा ना घाई केली
you can see there no man all over the
खुश
place.
झाला तो जास्त
Yeah, they got
थंडीवरली
him
त्याला
back. At least right now he's in the fight, but
तुझ्याच गावात आहे
there's just a lack of stopping power for Velocity right now. They're not, Oblivion Force is not scared by being suppressed. They're not scared of getting
क्या
seen
करे
by
भाई,
the
क्या करे?
Sova, Owl Drone or darts. They just keep moving forward. The future is Oblivion Force apparently.
मी जर
The
म्हणतो
push is real. And
चौका
हेलेफ आणि विबोरने बी
I know
खेळलं
on the
पाहिजे
lower end of getting kills, he was at the top of his team, yes.
आणि अमात्यरासो आणि राईट टू एसने मिडमधून ॲग्रो खेळलं पाहिजे डेथ मेकर एकटा ए सांभाळू शकतो ए आले तरी पण काय रिटेक करू शकतो
Pushing.
बी रिटेक
And
टफ
overall
असतो
velocity, they're surprised again, and I think that's
A
where the
retake
range of difference comes
कठीण
in.
असतो.
When the side of
Ganta.
SEA decides to just keep holding the W,
Ganta,
deciding to
Ganta.
push on forward, it's not something South Asia is that accustomed to, and we're getting the problems here right now.
Yeah, that's right. One thing about
तरी
OR
कसले
is that
रप
they
काढलेले
can-
त्या
I
लोकांनी
think it
2-10
comes down
झालेले
to as well how
Retake
dominant
toughच असतो.
VLT was in the beginning as as well because of how strong
आता
they were.
त्यांच्यावर आहे
They
ते
were
कोणता
getting
गेम
a
प्ले
little bit
वापरतात
comfortable. We did
अग्रेसिव्ह
see
जात
it
आहेत
almost
की
throw
रिटेक
as
वर
well.
खेळत आहेत.
So I wouldn't be surprised if that
आता
was
ते
the
बघ 3
case.
चालू आहे एक मिड
Lineups are real.
गल्ट पुस्ट आहे बघ
Oblivion Force as we get rid of the
Speed
penalty time.
है,
But should go away. Aldrode here to scout things up
हा
and
मेला
Locker's
नाही
gonna get thrown
नशीब
on
वाचला
over. Just allow that maker to back.
कशाला
Balance.
केली डॅश
So slower pace,
डॅश
and
वेस्ट
more effective here.
तेच बोललो उगाच
Velocity, if they can show their presence
त्याने
early
फायर
on,
पण नाही केला
might actually dissuade Oblivion Force
I
from
don't
going that way in the first place.
बीलाच
Every
जाणार
second that Oblivion
आहे
Force doesn't push is really a second that velocity game
ए मध्ये काय साऊंड क्यू येत नाही कारण आपण सगळे ए मध्ये आले आता हा राऊंड आपला
आता आपला
towards that A side though.
पाच आले पाचही
Also
आले
putting no man.
इझिली
रीड
खेळले
चांगलं आहे हा
The fragment now to slow things down.
ऍटलीस्ट रीड तरी
As
चांगलं
soon
आहे
as
त्यांचं
that
गेले
is gone,
रोटेशन
Dart does fly with Oblivion Force.
मिड मध्ये
Actually
पकडलं
decide to
पाहिजे
go
या
for the
लोकांना
rotation.
Oh my
कैसे
God,
ऑफ नहीं है
look
कुछ
how
नहीं है
fast
कैसे
that
धरेंगे
rotation
मिड
was.
में
We are seeing actually a more faster rotation from VLT this time around. But the thing is,
लागेल
तो अजून वायपर अजून
kind of
तिथेच
really
थांबलाय
messes with your head. You kind of
अरे
hear so
तिघं
many sounds,
अबो
so many things going on.
वायपर
And look at that,
वाजवतोय
there's only one of them left. He's making so much noise.
अरे
He's
परत
making
यायला
that
येणार
space
ना
onto that.
तो चोमट्या बनवतो
They
वायपर आहे ना
take over B. And one thing I noticed about Oblivion Force is once they get
पण झालं तर झालं आता काय
they're pretty much ready.
काहीतरी जिको आहे
It's so hard to do anything but Q
Nice.
does that.
गन गे
People
गन
are
गे
out of
गन
the
गे
way. Yes, it is a trade, but it's still really, really annoying.
This is now more
LF ला battle stage बनला पाहिजे
all the way
आता.
towards that B side, and Chimay finds a takedown on the right. That Ace not the best arsenal for velocity whatsoever. They committed
Arey.
so much to try and hold
Oh
that A
bhai.
side, but no man just does not miss and still finds the head of Amaterasu anyway. Up on top, Chimay now
LF.
catching out that maker. LFF does
अजून
find
एक
to
काढू
make
दे
that
अजून
three
एक काढू
even.
दे
Might have a chance here. He does have the res. We'll go for the heal instead. Now then, Oblivion Force backing away. Time is ticking. Might not have the time. Doesn't even have the
Nice
life to
eco.
do so.
तीन
Three
तर
for
मेले.
the chamber instead. And what a run this has been for Oblivion Force. 6 rounds in a row. Comfort zone the attack.
भाई युट्यूब वर बघितलं पाहिजे होतं त्या युफोरियाचा चेहरा बघितला पाहिजे आता
How it is right now. Once the switch happened, it was like they didn't know
VLT
what
च्या
to do.
मॅनेजरचा
They knew how to play attack on the map, but like defense.
पडलेलाच
I
असणार
have no
काय
idea what it is. That's the question mark here. The problem is they're not really able to take at least one single round.
एवढा
since
चांगला
the
डॉमिनेशन
switch
हगवलाय
happened. Right now, look at that.
2-10 अरे
पिस्टल गेली तिथेच समजून जायला पाहिजे
So,
होतं
I mean, in terms of like
हा रिअल्ट बोलली आता काय
it's just so dominating and big. But right now, OAM is just like, no worries, catch up later. They really show how dominating they are.
No, that's a true point. Even the stats don't lie. A sub 45% win rate for Oblivion Force on the defense. This is a. If you're gonna be a one-side pony, you better make sure you're gonna be streaking like crazy. And right
yeah.
now, Oblivion Force, they're
Okay,
doing
kala
just
marun
that.
dash out.
We haven't seen Velocity be able to keep up with what Oblivion Force has done. They went for the commit towards the A side. What happens?
So,
Oblivion
abo,
Force says,
recon
okay, let's just back
टाकायला
one away.
लागली.
And this time, it's even harder. LFF, he's
त्याला माहित आहे
gone
तो
from
कुठे आहे.
this round. No more second chances whatsoever. Off
तेव्हा
rate
त्याला
that
त्याने
making
read
it
केला
smart.
त्याला
It's
तेव्हा
Deathmaker now with the op himself. Haven't seen it too much in this game.
Abo.
This Fury is the
Abo,
call.
abo.
Oblivion Force gonna
हा
Compre-
घुसून मारतोय
ignore
बघ
it yet again. They back away.
कडक
Oh,
कडक
Though, to
Andy.
just put the jet lower on the ground. Amaterasu and Q with the trays there. We have that
अरे
maker
आबो
getting
खाबो
that
को
head of
मरणार
Hyperthor.
मरणार हा पक्का
And
100%
finally
मरणार मेला
will be removing the KO from the equation. But look at Oblivion Force. You
यार.
don't expect this on the defense that
काय
they're right
करतायत यार
behind you.
लोक
And the spike splatted 3v1 before. Can he actually clutch it for the team? It's not that likely though with the Viper spits.
फुल अफरातफरी मचवली
They
आहे
have so many
एक angle
different
hold नाही
angles
करत आहेत.
covered. They are hunting him down if they can. And that's the thing about Oblivion Force is that they don't
म्हणून
like
तो map
leaving
हातातून चाललाय.
any stones unturned or even any strings untied at the end. They want to make sure that if they're gonna be taking this, it's gonna be really, really dominating. But Vibor does catch up.
10-2 पासून comeback आहे,
That's really
10-2.
good when you think about it, because how they're playing this is just that they're just gonna make sure, okay, that's fine. So long as I'm alone and I get those picks, that's fine. We're gonna ruin their economy.
डेथ मेकर झालाय टिल्ट डेथ मेकरला एक किल नाही भेटलाय फर्स्ट हाफ पासून
Cannot catch a break. The hold,
भेटलाय का
understandable, they're from that maker. But the thing is, Oblivion Force all over the place towards the middle already, getting the picks, getting the
Doon.
push. And as soon
एकच
as the
kill
turnaround comes for the
दोन
Jet of
भेटलेत
Velocity
नुसते.
side, it's no man there waiting.
हा भारी
This
shot
was a
होता.
great
17
suppressor
होता ना,
from
half ला.
Matarasu, don't get me wrong. It slowed down their push immensely. But the immediate raid just happens.
अरे हे
The
लोक
shots
बॅक
are so
म्हणजे
on point.
एक जण मागे
And
राहायला पाहिजे तो
It's
थांबत
just,
नाही
it
हे
really
लोक
boils
पुढेच
down to
जात
that.
आहेत.
Oblivion Force, their map control is based on them pushing forward and getting the kills. Their way to control the site is based on them pushing forward and getting the kills. Their
लोक
spike
थांबत
plan is
नाही
based on the
त्यांच्या
same thing. I'm
मिस्टेक
gonna be
व्हायला.
repeating the same sentence, but it just works on the attack because these
Oh.
guys know that
नाइस
this is the way they
शॉट.
play.
ये अच्छा प्ले था.
Velocity,
काहीतरी
they have
प्ले
to find
बनवा ना
a way to
अशीच.
keep parity, a very
नुसतं
great
बसून
place.
राहणार तर
Hit
याचा
punches
वेट
on the other
करणार.
side, wall on up, and get a takedown
काय उपयोग आहे?
before someone is able to be in
पण
position
त्याच्याकडे
on this
हे
area.
होतं ना
हा मध्ये मध्ये केलं पाहिजे ना. मग तेच तर बोलतोय. थोडा तरी अग्रेसिव्ह खेळलं पाहिजे. आईस बॉक्स आहे हा.
वॉल का वाया घालवली अपग्रेड होती ना.
त्याच्यासाठी वॉल केली.
डेथमेकरसाठी
पण एक अपड्रिफ्ट होती.
अपड्रिफ्ट मध्ये ऍक्युरेसी नाही लागत ना.
Yes, they lost him earlier, but now he's back in the game. And when you think about it, Deathmaker only got that because of that really
जेव्हा पायाखाली जमीन असेल त्या ऍक्युरेसी वाढते.
Now that lineup is gone. You can't be doing this
हा
every
फायदा
single
उचलला
round.
पण
They
तिने.
need to start playing as a
पाहिजे
unit. They need to start communicating, which is
Yeah,
something that we saw
मरणार
in the
आहे.
game, but
अबो
it's
मेला-
not now.
मेला.
Now, Amaterasu from playing from the back there,
Nice.
really walking
Oh.
आता मेरा नाइस वन.
that slow bit
अभी मारो, अभी मारो.
Here is Meow.
हा राऊंड आला पाहिजे. हा काय पण करून हा राऊंड आला.
ओके.
शॉट रे.
Immediately one tap to the head. Hell FF. Just making as much as he needs for his team.
हा
to
प्रोत
get.
पाहिजे.
Yeah, finally we're getting it back from
तर आता
Velocity.
लगेच
The
ए मध्ये
bodyguard
माहित आहे
system.
बी
We saw
वाल्याने
it there
लगेच
many
पुश केला.
times. Amaterasu,
तीन
that's
जण
gonna
मारले.
be
DM मारणार,
such a
DM
bad
मारणार.
scenario with the fragment out.
Oh.
LFF and
बघ.
before protection is real.
असं खेळलं पाहिजे ना.
Especially
मेला.
Lago.
Sandwich करायचं आहे
Blades,
त्यात.
10 seconds left, no man.
ए ए ए थांब भाई
He's now
थांब
gonna
भाई
go for the
थांब
save. I
भाई.
was like, is he really gonna push this? He still wants more.
आता हे लोक काय करणार
Is he
माहिती आहे का
that
ऑब्लिव्हन
ready for
वाले
the takedowns?
चेंबरला बोलणार
Now
तू
he's
बॅकस्टॅप
pitched.
क्लिअर कर.
And Velocity will take the
त्याला वाजवला
That's a
पाहिजे जरा.
great
आम्ही
way to
वाजवतो
stop
हिला जाऊन.
to the Oblivion Force momentum. Not only
ह्याला सेव्ह का करू
without the
दिला.
duels anyway,
Oh,
protect
No
one
Man ची
another.
23
He
झाली.
Shaky plays at the start with
Economy
that
पाहिजे.
wall. That's a big
No
surprise
Man
to
चे
someone like
बघितले?
Chimay. He wasn't really set
Frag
up
बघ,
as
23.
much with the rendezvous there. He was
ती नाईफ लागली
liable
कशी
to
मला
shot
वाटलं
first.
टीपी मध्ये
This
वाचू
was
शकतो
big
तो.
before AFF.
कसली
Great
लागली होती.
pickoffs for Velocity to at least put a stop
No
to
Man
the
चं काय झालं?
rampage that is Oblivion Force.
Yeah,
Frag
that's right.
buff.
Looks like the recipe for disaster for
Mobile.
them was to play something a little bit unusual, something that they have not expected. So, I mean, when you think
तो एक
Total
एक
खेळतोय.
they're very
Ah.
methodical. We've seen that earlier.
आहा.
त्याला
Again,
फुल
an
एकदम
attack.
हवं.
But,
नाईस पिक.
Deathmaker now with the up, he's very, very
आता
comfortable.
गेला,
No
आता
man
मॅच
out of
गेला.
the way, which means that if they leave
लिंबू
that
कुठे
space,
उभा आहे?
आता
no
रेड
man would
झालंय.
be
रेड
able to
झालंय.
do it for them. Amaterasu playing a little bit more aggressive here on the defense, pushing
मागे
forward
आलास
to
तर.
get any picks as well. They're trying to play default. They're trying to see if they can get as many hits as they
Risk
can
किती नाही
popped
देणार
out of the
बाबा.
way.
ए सोडलाय
Because
पूर्ण
that's the secret to
लोकांनी.
their success. They're playing
चालेल,
together. So
गेलं
how
ना
can we
परत.
isolate them?
आता
How
आलं.
can we make sure that we get those one picks and make sure
ऐसा
they can
कैसे?
work together, at least in terms of how they're going to work with each other's abilities.
Yeah, great point there because No Man has been the hard entry, has been the one to allow the rest of the squad to get the space that they need to shoot back. Yes, Chimay has been stepping on up this half. It's still up to that speed of the Jet to get the surprise on. Now that Gordo is gonna get spotted and he's peeked by the chamber in time. We will play from
ऑब्लिव्हन वाल्याने ना आता मिड पिक जरी झाला असेल ना तरी मिड पुश करूनच split खेळलं पाहिजे.
He is one god to watch out for.
अटकला,
And he'll get
अटकला.
the
Wall
takedown
मध्ये
by Gord. Now,
अटकला.
non-believer there to get the takedown.
Nice.
Jules stepping on up when he needs it the most. And just out of nowhere in the middle, there's the
Some
control
plug-in.
here from Oblivion Force. Suddenly a different
Ara,
kind
ara,
of plan
ara,
here for the side of OF. They were looking towards the
E
east side.
मारला हा
Velocity did not
नशीब.
expect this coming. Deathmaker though, shot flies. And will get the takedown. Again, they're more, I'd
भाई
say,
आला, closing ला आला
responsible
game.
outlook here from Velocity.
हा राऊंड नाही झाला
That
पाहिजे
they will
होता
go
यार.
for the save. No heroics
कसा
here.
गेला बे?
Oblivion Force now getting the double digits, but will they get this operator?
Yeah, that's right. Deathmaker needs the operator. I mean, at least in terms of how he plays. However, looks like it's not going to be happening. They are just going to sit on the spike. And they're just going to wait out the time. They can't do anything. What else can you do? We are seeing some pushes there from Hyperthor as well as Furious Meow. The question is, can they outgun it immediately? There is the recon dart, but nothing's going to come out of that.
There you have it, 10 to 11. And, well, it's going to be another round here for the side of
काय
Oblivion
match चालू आहे
Force. When the world lost No Man, they found someone like
पहिला
Jimmy
राऊंड
start
आपला
things
होता
off.
हा. उगाच
Found
आम्ही
their
तर असं
bumper
अडकला
instead
तिकडे
to
वेगळी.
get the takedowns that they need. Q there,
हा
not
बघितला
just
काय
with
केवढा
the
लॅग झाला
blink.
बघितला
And Velocity,
ऑब्झर्वर लॅग.
they're caught mid-transition this time. They've been banking
हाँ ना.
on those
अरे
rotations
ping
to
diff.
fortify as soon as Oblivion Force
Ping
gets
diff
on
तो है.
that site. But at the same time,
किती आहे सगळ्यांना
still
चेन्नई मधून
Oblivion
30
Force
40
who gets those takedowns anyway.
30-35
Up now, still in
बोलला.
hand though.
नाही
Deathmaker,
32-33
all about
बोलला.
scouting for Hypator. Now we're trying to move towards that B site while Chimay is hungry for a pickoff over to the eastern side.
वा
That's
बी
right.
बघ
OF
पूर्ण सोडून
does have
दिले.
his off right now, and we have seen how lethal his plays are with that. But look at how much utility is there, just making it so hard for them to get onto the side. They have no clue where to go, but Recon Bot will be finding No Man, and they know that if No Man is there, we don't have to peek. We know that he's gonna at least play with the op.
हे लोकांनी पण द्यायचं ना सिंगापूरला.
Angles now being taken, and here we
Nah,
have it
nah.
again. Toxic trains just try
Well,
and
harla
counteract
harla
the
असतं.
push. Velocity can actually split up this site thanks to their initial
अरे
setup.
नोमॅन बघ
Up was
कुठे
the first
घुसला.
stop.
यार,
Oh, he missed the
timing.
Velocity pushes on forward.
अबे
Oh,
काय?
finally, No Man will see him, and No Man is not done.
ही का timing
He's
होती?
the island, and he's the one to watch out for here.
Oh,
For a
shot.
but Deathmaker will have his
Retake,
number
retake,
now.
retake
Make it
chance.
2v2. Spike though, taking on
Come on.
away. Wall is placed. Just be bothered. Question now lands. What will Deathmaker do next here?
त्याला माहित आहे एक
Rifle
party
instead.
आहे.
Velocity trying to play protection, but the
आता
flood
एक party
is
आहे. Come on,
potentially
kitchen च
the
येणार.
problem from above. Q is
वरती
there.
ना.
Vibhor now with the defuse. Shots
Oh,
to come.
oh,
Last
oh.
one. And Q will get the take.
Nice
For the will get the kill.
one.
And map point
भाई
finally for
गोटे मुंह में आ गए
Velocity.
थे.
It's
हाँ,
just
कुचला.
such a hunt here from
हाँ,
all force. It's
उचल.
like
बाप
Jaws
रे.
the shark is lurking around you. But this time, Velocity is able to stay on
चला
land.
अजून एक.
Yeah, that's right. And you gotta
VLT
you gotta
का
give
map
it to
है
them.
ना?
It was kind of like a tag team
ये?
there for the
नहीं,
two
नहीं.
of them.
ये
He was
तूने
like,
pick
you
केलं.
take care of me, I'll defuse,
हाँ,
but
नाही,
if you
नाही,
die,
बरोबर.
I'll take
VLT
care
ने
of you in
defense
return.
हे केलेलं
That
ना?
was the velocity
दोन
we saw
defense
in the
map आहेत.
beginning. And once
कोणता आहे?
Oman was out of the way,
Icebox?
you see how much easier
Next
it was
Ascent
for
आहे
them
ना?
to actually really take control
Ascent
of the
मध्ये
site.
defense
It was
घेतलं.
literally
आणि
just
last
No Man
deciding
single-handedly
heaven
keeping
आहे.
the
Shader
entire
आहे.
team of VLT
Heaven, heaven,
run
heaven.
for their money.
हेवन आहे.
त्यात
हेवन
पण
मध्ये
VLT डिफेन्स हो रहा है. दोन्हीवर आता VLT डिफेन्स हो रहा है.
हेवन
Easy
मध्ये
आहे.
आहे.
Oh, wow,
Oh my
nice
god,
trade.
that trade!
The trade, exactly that.
काय चालू
How
आहे?
is Chimay
काय trade घेतला?
find the frag anyways?
ADS खोलून
Beyond
मारला
the
त्याने.
shots. And Oblivion Force now. He will shut down the op in hand.
ADS क्या चीज़ है मालूम है क्या तेरे को?
Res available. If they can actually get the same Frez.
ऑफला काउंटर करायचं असेल ना ADS खोलावाच लागतो.
Now then, slower pace.
उचलला पाहिजे.
Oblivion Force, since they don't have the intel, they might feel like they're going in blind, and especially because that A side already has
Spotted.
Viper Spit duel though from Amaterasu.
नको
Able to
घेऊ,
get
नको
away in
घेऊ.
time. I like this again.
Knife आली
Velocity
परत.
really proving that they're not a squad to be over
Knife
eager.
टाकून पाठी.
And when they feel like it's a little too
Nice.
50-50 for their liking, they will retreat instead.
I like the change up as well in terms of them. Just
पण का
bouncing.
timing
I
आहे
feel
पण
like the
ulti
attack was
पण
just straight up
timing वर टाकला
metal
विवर
to,
ने.
sorry, pedal to the metal, and now they had to find a different way to kind of play this round because clearly their way of
आता
winning
mid
fast
mid
was
तीन
coming
तीन
out
जात आहेत mid
as soon
ते
as they
बघ.
went on attack. However, this is hell FF.
हेलिक्स
Oh
चा
my
आता.
God.
That reporter does have an op.
Spotted.
It's very, very painful. But for now, this is the wall. They are going to try and isolate the other team from any rotates. There is the
Nice.
revive coming out. Vibor stepping up.
5v3
Q
आता हवं नका
suddenly is
please.
now out of the way. And look at how hard it is for them to play retakes here, especially with this Viper Spin.
Nice.
Amaterasu playing inside as well. Vibor gets another one. Chimay
Oh, oh,
plays
oh.
one. There's
Tak,
a
knife, tak.
3-piece for that. But
अरे
here's now
knife tak
Willie
ना
returning
अभी.
the favor. And here's
Eee.
OF now with
Knife
the
का ना
revive as
टाकली.
well. Making it a little bit more safe. At least it's a 2 versus 3 situation. A little bit more
Easy, nice.
on this
GG.
winnable side, but they sit
Oh,
down.
bhai,
Doesn't
at
matter.
last.
Go through revive. We're gonna be playing
चला.
as a team. We got each other's backs.
And Velocity will get map number 1 to take
दूसरा
Icebox.
कि-
It's like
दूसरा
it's
कधी
from the
असेल?
steering wheel
किती
away
मिनिटांनी?
from Oblivion Force and slammed on the brakes in a round where the attack, the assault of Oblivion Force went to a crawl. It was Velocity Gaming who just sped on through yet again. What a game though. We saw the brightness from both sides here so far. Oblivion Force, their attacking side, such a scary force to behold. But Velocity Gaming, this is really looking to be a squad from South Asia looking to provide some hope and provide some games into APAC.
I mean, I'm just actually so surprised at how they're able to come back after losing 8 in a row, I believe it was. It's just actually so scary how they're able to mentally come back for that. We talked about how when you lose so many in a row, it's hard to come back, but that many is a surprise.
that point, the mental game, Velocity being so much more mature, because even though they felt like, okay, we might fall into the trap, or we're just dueling, or just keep fighting, there would be times they would just be backing on away. There would be times there it's a little bit too 50-50. They would retreat instead and look for the advantage. And the only thing that really kept Oblivion Force going even more is how they also evolved along the way. It just wasn't that hard contact. They would get the flanks, they would get that map control. And while Velocity would usually assume that it's a safe place to back on away, someone like No Man is still there in the first place. It's just a clean effort on the attacking side for Oblivion Force, but what really cost them this game is their defending struggles. They're too eager to look for those fights. It really just defines their whole playstyle. And Velocity has shown us so far that this is a squad that doesn't get pretty much swept with the tides and swept with the momentum of the game.
That's right, but let's have a look at the highlights here. What exactly went on in the game? Well, it looked so smooth, just smooth sailing for VLT, very, very dominating as well, which was honestly so surprising. I'm just so surprised at how OF was able to kind of change it up as soon as the round turned. And what I believe happened was it comes back to that mental game where you go so many times in a row not winning it out, and suddenly the switch happened and the reset happened from the side of OF, and immediately suddenly the other side was struggling. But you gotta give it to Deathmaker as well. Like, he really made not only so much space, but really made it hard for OF to really come back as well. But when you look at Amaterasu and you look at even his other teammates, they were pretty much ready as well to step up just in case something were to happen, especially Vibor as well.
Great to see before, just like this, the Battle of the Jets, though, it might be the story to watch out for all throughout this game. No Man versus Deathmaker, who can outfrag the other. And I can't wait for map number 2, just because perhaps we'll get the swap of starting sides. I really feel like it doesn't matter too much what map we're going to be going on, but it matters of where Oblivion Force is going to go from. How much confidence can they build once they're on the attack? What can Velocity do to go for the comeback? Those are questions waiting to be answered. But in the end, when we saw Oblivion Force slow to a crawl, it was Velocity immediately back in control. So what a win there from Velocity Gaming. And guys, we're going to be going on a break. Game number 1 done. Last series of the day. Next year with Tash, and we'll see you guys for more from Apex Challengers. feel like you're going through speed, well, you're the ones who are feeling the rush. But Velocity Gaming, they withstood the rush down of Oblivion Force to take map number 1. We're going to be going into map number 2. I'm Dax here with Estrada. Quick little personal emergency there for Tash. What a trooper he has been all day. But we're going to be going into the action for the second map. And Ascent is next here, Ilu. And from what we've seen so far, Velocity Gaming, they've been looking to be more of a well-oiled machine compared to some of their South Asian counterparts here. Velocity has been a squad that has been absolutely stellar, and I think it really starts with how they play as a unit. They support each other as much as possible. Before the frag even happens, there's already a refrag that is ready, and someone like Deathmaker, he's been playing with the team a lot more than what's expected from squads from the Indian region.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that, you know, I wanted to bring up is, you know, we draw a counterpoint between the two top South Asian teams, right? We have Velocity and their counterpart, you know, Global Esports. It's a very different look from what we've seen, not just in the previous games, but also in the qualifiers. The more meta choices, the more structured approach towards the game. I'd say the more textbook approach towards Valorant has generally come from Velocity. And it's paying off. This is something that I feel fundamentally does play a little bit better towards the APAC region once you get to it. Once you have, you know, teams at a higher level, when you get to APAC, you're going to have to rely on those strong fundamentals. Now, this is something that Velocity has in spades. Now, I'm not saying GE don't, but when it comes to their playstyle of GE have more willingness to experiment, to try other things, to, you know, stand out individual players to make individual plays. It's not exactly the stage for that, which is why I personally think Velocity is having a little bit of a better day today than their counterparts.
That's a contrast, right, from their fellow South Asian representative. But on the other side, Oblivion Force, it's kind of like, you know, we're watching Griffin yet again, willing to go for the duels, and it's the similarities instead. And when we talk about the PG Taiwan region,